Hey YouTubers, today I'm going to be doing a foundation routine video for you guys. One of the biggest problems I've had personally with my makeup experience, and I'm sure a ton of girls have had, is finding the foundation shade that is perfect for you, that matches your skin perfectly. And so I'm going to give you some pointers on finding perfect foundation shade for you. And yeah, so one of the things I wanted to say though is that your foundation should change. In the winter, your skin is a little bit more white and ashy than it is in the summer when you've been out in the sun and you're tan and you know, so in the winter your foundation should be a little bit lighter. In the summer it should be a little bit darker, unless your skin stays the same all year long because you're tanning, you're using fake tanner, you're using whatever. Then it stays the same. But most of us who don't do any of that stuff, which I don't, but I know it's terrible, but my foundation changes. In the summer, it's a little bit of a darker tinted foundation, and in the winter, it's more of a lighter tinted foundation. So yeah, if you guys want to see how my tips on finding the perfect shade of foundation for you, then stay tuned. Okay guys, so the first thing you want to do whenever you're doing your foundation routine is, of course, pin your hair back so that it's up and out of your way. That's what I usually use, a little clippy, but you can use a headband or whatever it is that you like to use best. Okay, so to find the shade that works best for you, my suggestion is to just go out and buy a bunch of different brands of foundation, and as well as different colors that kind of look like they match your skin tone a little bit. So I have four colors here. I have the NYC Skin Matching Foundation in number 687, which is light to medium. I also have Revlon's Colorstay. It comes in this little tube or jar like this, and this is for combination or oily skin, and this is in number 220 Natural Beige, because I know that my skin tone is fairly, it's medium to light, but because I have oily skin, I want something that's obviously it's for oily skin, combination skin. Then the next two I have are from Wet n Wild. So I've been wanting to try their foundation for a while, so this was a good excuse to buy some. So I have two colors. I have 181A in beige and 182 in natural. And the good thing about these ones is they come with an SPF. It's SPF 15, which is really cool. And it's also a tinted moisturizer, which means that it's going to go on more smoothly. So the best way to test out whether or not the color matches you is not on your hand like a lot of like in Walmart or Target, they have those like strips of the different colors of foundation, and they say like slide your hand underneath the foundation, and the one that disappears is the one that matches your skin tone. But that's not really true, because the skin on my hand is much lighter than the actual skin on my face, because my skin on my face is a little bit redder. So that's not going to work. So the best way that I found to test the foundation is to put a little dab on my hand of the color, put the cap back on, then I'm going to dab it with my finger, and I'm going to take it in a stripe from my cheekbone down to my jawline. I'm going to kind of blend it out as I go. Just a little bit. I'm not going to blend a lot. Just going to blend a little bit. I always have like a little towel to wipe my finger off on. So that was the Wet n Wild Ultimate Sheer Tinted Moisturizer in Natural. So this is kind of a medium tone. Toned color. So then I'm going to use this Wet n Wild in the beige. I'm going to put a little dab on my hand. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to dab my finger, and I'm going to put it kind of close to, next to, blending out as I go. Okay. Then I'm going to use the NYC. This is for light to medium skin. I'm actually not going to even put any on my hand. I'm just going to dab my finger on here, because there's already some on there. Then I'm going to put it next to the other one, blending out as I go. Then the last one I'm going to use is the Revlon Colorstay. And I'm not going to put any of this on my hand either. Well, yes I am actually, because there's none on the cap. I'm just going to put a little drop. Oh, that's more than a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to do last one. Alright, I'm going to blend it out a little bit more. So I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but I have the 4 colors on my cheek here. And I'm going to wait just a couple of seconds just to let them dry a little bit. And that way I get a more accurate reading of, you know, which color is close to my skin tone. Okay, so now they're dried a little bit, then I can look in my mirror. And I have this, you know, really a mirror that I can, you know, move around and whatnot, and look and see which of the 4 colors, when I look at it, which one like almost completely disappears on my skin. And the second one we put on is the closest match to my skin tone, which was this Wet n Wild Ultimate Sheer Tinted Moisturizer in beige. Okay, so I can see that one mostly disappears on my skin. So it matches my skin tone the closest. But there's a big but here, and it's not mine. The foundation that matches on your skin doesn't always match on your entire face. You might have to mix and match some. So I'm going to put a little bit more on my hand of the color that closest matches my skin tone from our test. And I'm going to put it right across my forehead and blend it out a little bit, just to make sure that it also matches the skin on my forehead. Because sometimes the skin on your forehead is a little bit darker than the skin on the rest of your face. So you don't want to have a very pale foundation on your lower half of your skin, but a darker foundation on the top of your head. So that would just look crazy. So I'm going to let it dry for just a couple of seconds here. And I can see that it really does, actually. It matches very well to my skin tone. This is like, it's like almost perfect. So that worked out good. So now I'm going to wipe off all of those 4 foundations, as well as my forehead. Okay, so the best way that I apply my foundation is, especially liquid foundation. Powder foundation, you can use just a buffing brush or whatever to do that, is using, this is kind of a stiff brush. This is from e.l.f. It's a powder brush. It's kind of a stiff, flat brush that works really well for buffing in your foundation. So the first step, though, when you're doing your foundation routine is, of course, moisturizing. And I moisturize twice a day. And normally, before I do my makeup, I put moisturizer on in the morning. And then I also moisturize at night after I do my face cleansing and all that, too. So that just gives your face a more even surface to work with. And it also obviously moisturizes your skin. I use the Clean and Clear Advantage Acne Acne Control Moisturizer. And it's oil-free because I have acne-prone skin, which a lot of people do. It's not like abnormal to have acne-prone skin. So then before you put your foundation on, you want to put on concealer. So I have two that I use on and off. I have the e.l.f. Under Eye Concealer and Highlighter, which is in this creamy peachy beige color. And I also have the I can't talk today. What's up with that? Wet n Wild Cover All. Both of them have a wand, which I like the best rather than using a brush to do it or whatever. But, you know, whatever works for you. So I have both of these, and this one is almost an exact match. It's a little bit darker than what's in this foundation, but when blended out, it actually is almost the exact same color. This one, however, is a little bit lighter. So if you're going to try and highlight under here, you want it to go a little bit lighter than your actual foundation. You want your concealer to be a little bit lighter so that it kind of brightens up that under eye. And if you want a more matte effect, then can't even talk. A more matte effect, then use the color that's most closely related to your foundation. Right, so I'm just going to put this on my under eye. And I also put a little bit on that little corner between my eye and my nose, just because mine there is awfully blue. So I just want to cover that up as well. Then I'm just going to blend it out by patting it with my finger. And I never sweep and tug because the skin underneath your eye is very, very delicate, and you don't want to cause any sort of damage or, you know, make it red or anything like that. So just by lightly patting, you can get all the color blended in. Okay. Then I'm going to set my concealer with a loose powder, and I have the NYC Smooth Skin Powder. It comes in this little container. I just take a fluffy brush and tap it into the powder, and then just kind of sweep it over my under eye as well as all over my eye. Okay. Now I'm going to put on my foundation, and I'm just going to take the color that we decided matches my skin tone the best, and I'm going to put a bunch of it on the back of my hand. Then I'm going to just dab my finger in it, and I'm going to pat it all over my face. And I'm going to concentrate it first on the areas that are a little bit red, where I need a little bit more coverage. And then I'm just going to share it with the rest of my skin. It's going to be a bunch of little finger marks all over my face, so. Alright, then I'm going to take my powder brush, and I'm going to blend that out, starting with my nose and working towards my outer face. And I'm working in sweeping and circular motions. To really blend it into my skin. I don't want it to look like it's sitting on top of my skin. I want it to look like as though this is my normal skin. Alright, and anywhere that you feel like you need a little bit extra coverage, you can just add a little bit more. It's always easier to add more than it is to like to get all your foundation on and you're like, oh my gosh, that looks so cakey. And then you have to take it off and start all over, you know, because you can't like just remove it in one spot. Alright, so there you have it. That is like my total foundation routine. After I'm done with that, I just set it with some of the same loose face powder, and I actually just use the same brush. I just dip it in the face powder and then just sweep it all over my face. I'm really blending it in. And this face powder works awesome because it's a little bit warm, so it kind of, especially in the winter, it warms up your skin. Just a hint, which is great. So, alright, so there you have it. That is my foundation routine. I hope you guys got some tips and some pointers, and you'll give foundation. Well, I'm sure all of you are mostly wearing foundation now at this point, but we'll be able to find the shade that works the best for you and whatnot. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!